20 years you spent with the National Gas Company. I'm not going to have you here and not ask you a question in that area. Specifically, the Prime Minister said we've been negotiating for some time with Venezuela. They are stepping in now to assist us in production. Is production more production? I mean, the cost of oil prices are down where it is. It is anticipated, the World Bank figures say that you're not going to get, according to the Prime Minister, to $60 until the year 2020. If you're lucky, you'll get to $60 a barrel. At the end of the day, is more production, greater production, part of the answer?
Well, greater production will always be part of the answer. It all depends on your cost.
Exactly. That's what that. Yes, that's the way I should have framed that. Yes.
Yeah, it depends on the cost. What is critical about the Venezuela-Trinidad relationship is, in fact, not oil but gas. The fields that we're speaking about are primarily gas fields, and bringing them online is absolutely critical to the future of the industry in Trinidad and Tobago. As you know, our reserves have been falling largely because we have been consuming more than we're finding, faster than we're replacing reserves. And therefore, we are at the stage now where I think that the industry will find it difficult to attract any new business without first finding new reserves. And in that context, Venezuela and the reserves that we share with Venezuela become absolutely critical to the future.
And these are the Lauren Manatee fields.
Lauren Manatee, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Give me a crystal ball. I know it's not very popular.
I heard Joanne say it earlier on, and I heard another economist say it sometime earlier on this week.
Don't try that.
We don't like the crystal ball. We don't like the crystal ball. But I mean, I think the reality. I mean, if you look at this economy, the reality is that we're in for a difficult time. We're in for difficult times over the next maybe 2 years, and so. Simply because we have been so dependent on energy sector revenues, and energy sector revenues are not going to generate the kind of revenues that they've been generating over the years. More than that, because government itself strives on energy sector revenues and taxes, and that's what fuels government expenditure. Government expenditure is also going to collapse. And once that happens, then you begin to feel it in the non-energy sector as well. You
are an economist. I had representatives from the Employers Consultative Association here last week. We were talking in the area. Their statement I like. It is time for dialogue, not confrontation, essentially. But at the end of the day, I raised the question of employers, entrepreneurs getting to the point where they say, let us adjust our profit as against having these escalating expectations still, even in a climate like this. And that is the result, I think you will concur, with them making the first move of laying off people. You think there's going to be a willingness for the long haul, an awareness by these entrepreneurs / business owners to, in fact, do an adjustment, a realistic adjustment of the profit margin? No.
I'm not convinced about that at all.
I thought it would be a wonderful rhetorical question.
but one of the things, Rennie, I mean, when you called me to this program, one of the things I was making the point earlier on that we really have to work hard on how we get out of this. And a key sector in playing this is the role of that small and micro enterprise sector, which we keep talking about over and over and again. But it requires so much support that they've not given. They've been given a lot of lip service. Interestingly enough, and wherever these sectors and these small and micro enterprises begin to rear themselves, they meet roadblocks, they get tramped upon, they get disbanded, they get moved, but these are real entrepreneurs. There's some real entrepreneurs in the country, people who take material and make new things here and develop new products and so on, and it's a struggle to get that on the market.
It's amazing that elsewhere in the world, everyone understands that these small startup businesses and small businesses are bedrock of countries, but we don't seem to see that here.
We say it all the time. All the studies they say. You say it in university, you say it in the ministry, and so the question is, what are you doing? And I'll give you a classic example of this, of why where I think we're missing the boat. Let's just take Kariri, for example, Caribbean Industrial and Research Institute. Kariri's mandate, Kariri has been told that it must be self-sufficient. Now, how can you be self-sufficient in a country like this when you're trying to support small entrepreneurs, small manufacturing, small food processors, and so on? You can't be, because they can't pay you. And there aren't enough large industrial organizations that require your service. So surely you could charge large industrial organizations for testing, blah, 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 and you can make some money there. But you can't be imposing heavy fees on a small guy who wants to make mango, whatever. The guy wants to make mango liqueur. And he comes to you and he believes that he has the formula down and so on. So Kariri is underfunded. It doesn't have the capacity. In Tobago, for example, there's a problem. If you're in Tobago and you're trying to do a food processing business, you've got to come to Trinidad for testing, right? You have to pay to come to Trinidad to testing, to pay Kariri money because there's no such facility in Tobago. Another major problem that I have discovered is when you get to this business about how do you move from micro in your kitchen doing nice little things that the tourists want to the factory. How do you do that? How is that happening? That can't happen here because you're talking about orders of magnitude change, a sea change between what you do in your kitchen and what is required now.
And all these kind of industries to start demanding that you have a 20-page explanation as to how you're going to move from small to medium size.
More than that, the infrastructure, where do you go? Netco, what's the other one name? E-Tech will rent you a factory shell, which is 2 floors big like this building. You don't need that.
Right.
What you need is a small space, and what you need is common processing facilities. Where you pay which we are doing in Tobago, which is happening in Tobago now. The Hope Estate, they're building some things called the multi-purpose units and so on, which are small spaces, which small food processors can use, and they have, So Tobago is making that move. I'm saying that that's something that should happen across Trinidad and Tobago, in industrial spaces, so that people can make that transition from kitchen to factory without having to go through the heavy burden associated with the capital expenditure and the new machinery and everything. And one of the lessons from point visas that I keep emphasizing year in, year out is that point visas didn't just happen. Government placed a lot of effort into the infrastructure. What you see as point visas industrial estate was a sugarcane swamp land, right? Government built an infrastructure. Government invested in the first industries that were there. Government built a port, and the companies then came. And therefore, you ask yourself, where is the infrastructure for that SME sector that you're trying to grow?
You first have to sell the population that ROI, there must be I before you get R.
That's right.
I mean, at the end of the day, folks don't like the idea of investment, but it is something that we have to. I cannot have you leave. And it is 12 o'clock, by the way, folks, 7 minutes after 12. We'll hold this for a second. What you said, because my guest got you a bit? Oh, okay. I had to do that, doctor. but I cannot have you out of here without looking at something that I raised with Dr. Farrell before he was appointed to the board when he was here. The question of how feasible it is to make Trinidad and Tobago the financial, I'm going just a bit field here, financial center of the Caribbean. And that is going to be one of the areas of divestment we're talking about. How doable is that?
Well,
I mean, because I look at all these big buildings downtown, for instance, and I'm saying, we're wasting a lot of space there. We have these buildings down here. One is an industrial complex, What are we doing about it?
Well, the buildings were built primarily for government office space, but I mean, it could be rented to anybody who I think might want it. But Trinidad and Tobago's competitive advantage, I think, for being the financial center was largely based on the fact that there was a lot of money circulating in Trinidad and Tobago. Right? We were the richest country in the Caribbean. A lot of financial transactions was going on here. The largest banks are here. The largest loans are syndicated here. And that provides you with a foundation. for it. Any international investment banker or international investment broker wanting to do business in this region will find synergies in being here in Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, there is the structural adjustment now and the structural downturn now, but I don't think that has depreciated our ability, in fact, to still stand in that.
We can still do that.
I think we can still do it.
All right. Dr. Gregory McGuire, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. I just moved him in a couple of spaces this morning. We took him and put him straight into the cultural tourism, which my guest, who I thank right now, excelled, Dr. Joanne Tull. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And Dr. as always, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much for having me, Rennie, and I think I owe you one.
I'm good. And you know me, I'm a bishop. You know the clergy, man. They call on you. Want to thank our guests for being here this morning. And of course, at the beginning of the hour, we started the show with Ozzy Warwick, the Education Officer of the Oilfield Workers Trade Union. Thank you all so much for joining us this morning. Have yourself a wonderful day. We'll be back again next week at 10 o'clock here for Brunch. I am Rennie Bishop, inviting you to join me Monday through Friday from 6 until 9 o'clock right here on 107.7 for the morning show. Have yourself a wonderful day.